What's up, everybody, and welcome to the E2B2 podcast, our first podcast of 2020, at least that we think.
Yeah, probably.
And Evan J. Thomas here with my son,
Brandon Thomas,
and let's move up a little bit. So we have a new episode today, and I'm going to try not to say so much today, but we'll see what happens. And every time Brandon says no, it's $1. So there you go. Every time I say so, that's $1 for me. But yeah, we saw the movie The Gentleman tonight, which we'll get into in a little bit, but we're going to kind of break down what we just went through in the past month. So Brandon, what have you been up to the past month since, New Year's started basically, 3.5 weeks ago? 3.5 weeks ago.
Pretty quick. So basically, so far school has been pretty good. No major tests. The second semester started. And it's been just pretty good overall, just no major complications, pretty good grades. And it's been quite a good start to the beginning of the second semester. And I probably do have plans for next year, actually, probably. I might go into media, likely will go into media and probably do driver's ed, who knows, something will happen next year. This year, I'll just continue doing what I do, and then once the year ends, then hopefully I do good.
Yeah, and Brandon and I were talking in the car after I picked him up today about let's do driver's ed during the summer. That way we can knock it out and you can come and drive to my house next year.
My school does have a good driver's education school system, so I could easily probably just substitute, for example, maybe my orchestra for driver's ed. Yeah, but
$1. No, we're not doing that. Brandon and I are going to talk about that going in. Yeah. But this past week, what have you done in school besides just school?
So basically, I have had my 2 concerts. I have had my main class concert where it consists of my class orchestra students, where it's just the kids that are in my class right now as of now. And this week basically. On Tuesday I had my what was it called?
The Fiddlers.
Yeah, it was Fiddlers. Basically it was a world music thing where we just played world music from whoever where. There was Sweden, there was United Kingdom. We played a few cool songs.
Yeah, you guys played a Beatles song. You played Blackbird.
Yeah, it was weird. That's a weird mix of Blackbird. It was there
was some steel drums played by one of the other little groups. Fiddlers, like we were saying, Brandon's
which was an orchestra
group. Yeah, there was a
choir. And then there was choir that did some. Because I don't really like choir as a class in school because choir isn't really choir. But during the concert, I realized that choir did something pretty different, where they had more of African sound.
Yeah, it was awesome. Tribal. It was the most entertaining show that I've seen them do so far. So I really enjoyed it, and I was kind of bopping my head and my hands and kind of getting into the groove of the steel drums.
the bodacious steel drums.
And as for me, I've been all over. Check out I'm now doing video production with 670 The Score radio station, and I was at the Cubs convention a week ago on set doing interviews there. Not myself, but I was doing the video for the interviews. Got to meet Kyle Schwarber, got to meet Pat Hughes, Ryan Sandberg, and it was just a blast, doing what I do now. So yeah, that's been a lot happening for the both of us. Yeah. Just a lot of working for me. I do Uber and Lyft as well. I've been, as we were just saying, kind of going to movies. So yeah, that's what we did tonight. Saturday night, Brandon and I went out to a new movie theater in Vernon Hills called the AMC. It's not a new movie theater, new to us.
Yeah, it's
a Hawthorne Hills mall, and this place was really cool. I mean, really nice, great seats, but you had some weird people sitting next to us.
Okay, but I have something to complain about. So at the very front there was this child, and for the
child,
it was a young one. It was
toddler at a gangster our movie with a lot of
not
swears.
Exactly shoot up, but it was there was violence, there was swearing, there was some specific
a lot of drug activity.
A lot of drugs, especially that. And the child was there. I mean, I could understand you could bring a child to maybe Jurassic Park, but still, not even that. Still, that's pretty bad. And then another thing to complain about is the old ladies. So you know how when you're at the theater, the old ladies are like,
There is usually, and this is how we figured out this happens. It's usually when there's something that dramatic happens that kind of brings the plot together.
Yeah.
And it's revealed.
Or something just interesting just
happens. And like it's like these people or women, and the funny thing is,
old women.
My mom, Brandon's grandma, does this, and they're like, they'll do this weird, like they just, like they understand how it all came together, and they're like, oh, we get it.
It's like a verbal, and sometimes they do verbal expressions like, oh yeah, or oh no, something like that. You get it. Basically.
So you get it, and then you have the people next to Brandon who was coughing at the beginning.
It was not that.
And then the guy who 3/4 of the way through the movie got up, went and same dude that was coughing, got up and went and got another big box of popcorn.
Luckily, he stopped coughing.
Luckily he wasn't coughing like crazy after that.
And there's a point where you just tolerate their coughing, and you're like, I can't do anything about it.
Yeah, luckily it was only like a few moments long, but that was about it. So we're going to talk about the movie that we saw tonight, The Gentleman, directed by Guy Ritchie, starring Matthew McConaughey, Charlie Hunnam, Henry Golding, Michelle Dockery, Jeremy Strong, Eddie Marsan, Colin Farrell, and Hugh Grant. And here's the plot. I don't know if you've seen...
Oh, don't forget, spoiler alert.
Who's the spoiler alert?
Do we...
Oh, yeah, so we're going to spoiler alert the plot. So we're going to do this right now. Spoiler alert the plot. That way, if you guys want to listen past here, that's your fucking problem. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we're back. The spoiler alert has been notified for you. So if you want to listen, you can. But here is the plot of the movie. I'm going to just read it off, what I have here. It's about Big Dave, the editor of the daily print tabloid, is snubbed by cannabis baron Mickey Pearson, who's played by Matthew McConaughey, at a party, and he hires a private investigator, Fletcher, and Fletcher is played by Hugh Grant, to investigate Pearson's links to Lord Pressfield, a minor royal with a heroin-addicted daughter. Fletcher offers to sell his findings, typed up on the screenplay, to Pearson's right-hand man Raymond for £200 million. Yeah, Brandon's little there.
Because at the very end, I was like, so was the whole thing fake? Was the story they were writing fake? So I guess it was fake? I have no idea.
So, basically, in the movie, you had Hugh Grant, whose character was Fletcher, came to the house of Charlie Hunnam. What was Charlie Hunnam's name in the movie? Damn it, I don't even remember right now. So, I apologize. But, yeah, Charlie Hunnam's character, basically, he was at his house, and Hugh Grant's character came over and was going over the script. Well, the script is basically what has happened so far in this, like, sale of a possible business from Matthew McConaughey to these, other drug dealers, like the guy who played Jeremy Strong is the guy's real name, and then you had Henry Golding, which was Dry Eye.
Yeah, but at the very end, because I didn't understand the ending, some of the ending, because at the end, the dude was submitting the script as for a story or something of that sort. And I was like, so aside from the actual scenes they were together in the house, was it all just a story made up? So I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, so I'm going to read more of the plot here for you. Born in poverty in the U.S., Pearson won a Rhodes Scholarship to Oxford University, where he began selling marijuana to privileged fellow students before dropping out and building his empire by violence. He planned to sell his billion to Matthew Berger, who was played by Jeremy Strong, for $400 million so he could retire peacefully with his wife Rosalind, played by Michelle Dockery. Pearson shows Berger one of the labs where he grows his cannabis under the estate of aristocratic landlords who need cash for the upkeep of the stately homes. Pearson is later approached by Dr. Dry Eye, an underboss for Chinese gangster Lord George. Dry Eye offers to buy out Pearson's business, but he refuses. Pearson's lab is then raided by amateur boxers, and that was an amazing and funny and hilarious scene, who filmed their encounter, defeating the lab's guards and stealing the marijuana before uploading it online as a rap video. The boxer's coach, played by Colin Farrell, who, again, is amazing, later orders them to delete the video. So this whole little video part where these boxers who are trained by Colin Farrell, and Colin Farrell just so you know, he's using his Irish accent the entire time. So he's just like spot on with his comedic performance. I mean, it was like a dry comedic performance. It was just funny. It was just. I think we just need to use that soundbite from now on. I just started going, whenever we give up a plot. But the fight scene was really cool. There's going to be a little bit more that we're going to talk about, but that scene that we were talking about, Brandon, where they stole the weed or the marijuana from the plays. What did you think of that scene? It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
So is that what you got for that? Okay, so that's pretty cool. So we're going to keep going with the plot. Pearson begins transferring his cannabis growing out of the estates. He also agrees to bring home Pressfield's wayward daughter, Laura. Raymond retrieves Laura. However, in a brawl with roommates, one of Raymond's men accidentally throws Aslan, a young Russian man, out of the window to his death. Later, Laura dies of a heroin overdose. Coach visits Raymond, apologizes for his student's actions, and offers his services penance. So that fight with the brawl, I mean, that was a very interesting fight scene because they're chasing dudes with phones. Oh, yeah. But this guy gets thrown off over the window. And
it was funny because he falls into the ground. He dies. That's funny. Okay, anyways. Then the kids start taking selfies like it's just some sort of joke. I was like, that realistically happened. So.
Yeah, so it was pretty funny where it kind of threw over and then the guys were doing that. And then once they figured out that these guys took, video and photo, they basically ran these kids down and then attacked them.
They ran the
took
one
their
kid down.
Phones. And then, so that all happened there. Next off, Coach has captured Fook, or as they say, fuck, P-H-U-C, a henchman of Dry Eyes who had informed Coach's crew about the lab locations, although Fuck is killed during a botched escape attempt, which to me shocked the hell out of me. So this kid is in the back of a car, duct tape mouth, duct tape hands and feet. They let him out so they can, they basically, try to get the information from Fuck, which was Fook, but his name was Fuck. But it was hilarious because the little back and forth with what the fuck just happened, where the fuck did Fuck just go, stuff like that. But this kid gets out of the car, they unduct tape his hands, he runs away from Colin Farrell and Charlie Hunnam, and he jumps over this wall, and he falls over this wall, and next thing they see him look over the wall, and he's laying on these train tracks, and the train just hits him. I literally jumped out of my seat. I was like, "Oh shit! What the hell just happened there?"
You didn't exactly say that.
I kind of did.
You kind of did.
But I wasn't that loud like I just was there. So yeah, that was a pretty interesting part there. So then Pearson threatens Lord George for going after his lab, destroys one of his heroin labs in retaliation. George chastises Dry Eye for his insubordination in attacking Pearson and offers to buy him out. George nods to a henchman to execute Dry Eye, but the man executes George instead.
And then he peed on.
And then Dry Eye ended up peeing on his former leader.
And he said he'll pee on his grave. He just peed on him.
Correct. Right before he killed him, he said, "I'm going to pee on your grave," but he peed on the dead guy instead. So after that, unknown to Pearson, Dry Eye is in a league with Berger, who had wanted Pearson's business disrupted, but to reduce the price. Dry Eye had taken Lord George's place and then hopes to take Pearson's empire for himself. Dry Eye tries to kidnap Rosalind, who then kills Dry Eye's henchman before she runs out of bullets on her second shot, Derringer.
And then,
that was a very interesting, funny part as well.
She had a paperweight gun or something like that?
It was like a tiny little paperweight gun. It was called the Derringer.
Yeah.
It was a 2-shot Derringer. So she basically told these 3 guys that she had 2 bullets, and if one of the guys was going to walk any closer, she would shoot him between the eyes.
And then instantly right after, the big dude just and then...
She shot him right between the eyes. He stood there for about 30 seconds.
He was like...
Reached for his forehead, saw blood between his fingers, his eyes rolled back in his head, fell back and died. The next guy then tries to attack her. She shoots him in the head. Dry Eye is still alive, so then he attacks her. And in the meantime, there was a whole other scene with Matthew McConaughey. There was a car crash. He goes to try to save her. Da-da-da-da-da. He walks in, shoots Dry Eye, kills him, saves Rosaline. All is good from there. Yeah. So we're going to talk about the rest of that there. So Raymond kills an assassin. Raymond kills an assassin sent to kill Pearson. The two rush to Rosalind and Pearson's Dry Eye. Pearson kills Dry Eye as he is about to rape her, which almost happened, but obviously they didn't really show much. Fletcher ends his story and Raymond orders him to leave his house. Fletcher has merely confirmed Pearson's suspicions about the link between Dry Eye and Berger. Raymond orders coaches students to capture Big Dave. They drug him and film him having sex with a pig. That again is another interesting and hilarious part, threatening to post that video online unless he drops his investigation. So there's this part where Big Dave, who is this really goofy looking European guy,
short,
gets kidnapped by the boxers, thrown into the back of the van. Next thing we see the van open up in the back. Colin Farrell's sitting there. The guy's laying.
He has no clothes.
He has no clothes on and a blanket
over him.
And then they show
a pig.
They turn the film outside of the van to this pig, and then there's a little computer sitting there with a funny little pig just kind of walking around. He says, "If you want to see what happened to you last night, hit the space bar." Luckily, they never showed any of that video footage on the movie screen, because that would have been really interesting if they would have shown this dude humping a pig.
In front of a toddler and ladies.
So, like I said, they threatened to post an investigation. Pearson and Berger meet up again in a frozen fish plant, actually a cover for Pearson's European distribution operation. Berger drops his offer to $130 million, but Pearson reveals his knowledge of Berger's plan, shows him Dry Eye's frozen body, and tells him that he's keeping his business. Pearson forces Berger inside of the refrigerator, where he then freezes to death. Where he will freeze to death unless he transfers $270 million in compensation, and for the assault on Rosalind, cuts a pound of flesh from his own body. So one of his henchmen was going to cut a pound of flesh from Berger's body if he didn't rescind and pay that money. The rest of this movie, Fletcher approaches Raymond again for his payment, but Raymond reveals that he was tailing Fletcher all along. The boxers have stolen his stashes of evidence after Raymond placed a tracker on him during their last encounter. Fletcher reveals that he has also sold to Aslan's father, a Russian oligarch, I don't even know what the F that word is, a former KGB agent. The assassin that Raymond killed earlier was one of the Russians. Coach kills 2 Russian hitmen sent to kill Raymond, while Fletcher escapes in the chaos. That is a lot going on. I mean, this was a movie that was basically a lot of dialogue, a lot of plot, and a lot of there's a lot of C words, C-U-N-T words being thrown in there. So if you have younger kids like 15 years old who shouldn't be hearing that,
yes,
C-U-N-T, not sunt, but close to that.
Yeah, it is sunt.
So Pearson is then kidnapped by the Russians, who are then quickly ambushed by Coach's students who want to solve Coach's problem. They assault the car with bullets, killing the Russians and allowing Pearson to escape. Later, Fletcher decides to pitch the story as a film to Miramax. After his meeting, he gets into a cab only to realize that Raymond, that would be Charlie Hunnam, is the driver. Upon learning of Fletcher's capture, Pearson and Rosalind return to their cannabis empire and celebrate in each other's company. And then it goes to black. So, Brandon, and I said so I owe you $1. I'm not going to really give you a freaking $1.
No.
So this whole movie as a whole, what did you think from beginning to end? We're going to do a 5-star review every episode of our movies, and we could do half stars as well.
Yeah.
So Brandon, what did you think of the whole movie as a whole?
So overall, I thought the movie was it was very good. I thought it was a very different style of movie than I usually watch like every day, because
it wasn't the action movie that we're used to. It's not the scary movies that we're used to.
It's not a shootout movie. It's not
a lot of fighting movies. Yeah. It's not a Rock saving the world movie.
Every so often.
Exactly.
Or it's not a summer block, but it's a unique style of movie I actually enjoyed. Some movies like are unique in their style, but sometimes they don't really deliver that style very well. But this movie was just very good at what it did, and I was very confused. I was confused at the ending, as I said before, and there were some parts that were somewhat confusing, but I kind of just understood later on, and like figured out after the movie or during the movie, and after that, at the end, I was like questioning what was happening, and there was like only like a few parts I
he was like, is this real? What part was real? And I said the whole thing was basically real.
Yeah, it was just,
and then it was just the way they portrayed it. It was almost like there was a character, but the character is actually real.
Yeah.
And it was just basically a whole story on what just transpired. So Brandon, I don't know, you don't really know who Guy Ritchie, the director, is, but he has been involved in movies. He's done movies like, let's see, Game of Shadows, Sherlock Holmes. He did Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels in 1998. He did the movie Snatch in 2000, which one was a hilarious movie, but really hard to watch because it was Brad Pitt doing this accent that you could barely even understand. So maybe at some point Brandon will watch that movie. It was before he was even born, and I remember watching it at the theater. So that's how old I am. But for me, so what was your final star rating? And from 0 to 5.
So out of 5, I would give it a 4.5.
Okay.
I didn't find many problems wrong with the actual movie. It was just that, yeah, I'm not sure why it's not like a perfect, full-on perfect movie, but it's not like a 4-star rating movie. I give it a 4.5. It's kind of the best way I can actually.
So for my rating, I'm giving it also a 4.5. I really like the dialogue. I really like the plot. I really like the actors that were all involved. I wish there was a little bit more action to it, because there could have been. There was so much dialogue that you had to. I mean, if you're not following, you're screwed up.
If you fell asleep,
and I did not, for the first time in a long time, not fall asleep.
I usually don't fall asleep during movies, so
but I usually do it for a few moments. But this time I did not, because I had to pay attention a little bit more, and it was a lot of fun to watch. There was like you said, there were parts that were funny. Mm-hmm. There were parts that were kind of like, holy shit, what was that?
Parts were sad. Parts were just.
Yeah, but I mean, just overall, 4.5. I would recommend it, especially if you want a little bit, more of a plot movie with a lot of good dialogue and good just acting. So that was our take for today.
Yeah.
So what are you thinking? What's one of the next movies you want to see coming up? We still haven't seen 1917.
Okay, yeah.
That was another option we had tonight. But I kind of wanted to see this first. I still think we need to see 1917 because it is an Oscar-rated movie or an Oscar-nominated movie. And speaking of Oscar-nominated movies, we got the Oscars in a few weeks, so maybe our next episode we should probably talk about some of those.
And then we gotta see Zombieland 2, which we haven't seen.
Zombieland 2. There were some new movies coming out. We got Quiet Place 2 coming out.
There was some Morbius.
Morbius with Jared Leto, which is a Marvel movie. You got Black Widow, another Marvel movie coming out.
Godzilla vs. Kong.
Well, that's in 2021, isn't it?
No, it was. I have no idea. At this point, it was November 2020.
But there were some good trailers that they showed before the movie.
Creepy movies.
There was a couple creepy movies.
Yeah,
there was that one doll movie.
There was the one where like the person was like, no, can't go outside, and there's another one doll.
The doll one looks pretty wicked. So yeah, we're gonna cut this one short. It's Saturday night. It's now 11 p.m. I need to get to bed because I'm old. Brandon needs to get to bed because he's young, and he's probably gonna play video games for a little bit.
Until like 3.
You're not playing video games for 3 a.m. But until next time, everybody, we want to thank you for listening, and you can always check us out on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Well, at least me at Evan J. Thomas. Also, my Badass Productions. I have a lot of stuff going on. Just search me, Evan J. Thomas. You have Brandon, who's on YouTube.
Paleozoic Productions.
Paleozoic Productions. I can say it. Paleozoic Productions.
Okay.
So find Brandon on YouTube for that and check out some of his videos. He has a lot more subscribers than I do.
2,600.
2,600 subscribers already. I have like 82. So I have a long way to go to catch up to this guy.
I got a sponsor. No, you sponsor me and then you get more.
Yeah, he wants
like,
me to,
like
my son wants me to sponsor him to do
No,
videos
like-
that I'm teaching him to do.
no, like anyone's gonna really from my channel to yours, like because they're
No,
mostly
different-
kids.
different-
Yeah, mine. Is,
Different content.
I have video games, and you have.
So
like,
Brandon, have a great rest of your weekend. Have a great week at school. And until next time, we're gonna rock the F out, and we'll see you later. Thank you again.
Bye.
Rock on. Bye.